the session, you be in the lobby, you be in the dining. It's truly a real.
Listening to the case studies and the testimonials is actually eye-opening for us.
The people are great, so warm.
As a community, I need to give back more. That's something that I love.
Audible? Great. Good morning and welcome everybody. So we got inspired by Apple and do we need two screens here? So we got inspired by Apple and we said, okay, let's start with some video and make it a. And this is the point at which Tim Cook usually comes and says, how they are going to change the world, but that's not us. So don't expect Apple level presentation, so we'll try. So really excited, very overwhelming to see so many people here. We have 600 plus tickets and participants for this event. So over the years, we just started with 80 people in the first conference in 2014, and really exciting to see so many people and the community growing. So yeah. So I think the volume needs to be up. Yeah. So yeah, today we are going to see a lot of product presentations, talks from all of you, community, success stories, new products being launched. There is really good stuff, which I won't say good again, but you should see and judge for yourself, stuff that you have already probably seen if you're tracking some of our repositories, version 15. We just started with 80 people in the first conference in 2014, and really exciting to see so many people and the community growing. So yeah. Today we are going to see a lot of product presentations, talks from all of you, community, success stories, new products being launched. There is really good stuff, which I won't say good again, but you should see and judge for yourself, stuff that you have already probably seen if you're tracking some of our repositories, version 15. A lot of things which we have not shared before to the community. So yeah, great. Welcome again. Sorry for all the glitches that keep on happening. So, it's been 15 years starting Frappe and ERP Next, and it's been like for the first lot of years. I mean, the whole idea was just to survive, and now we are at a position where things are really getting good, and we hear a lot of good feedback, comments. I mean, all of you are really excited about what Frappe does. And in a lot of my conversations, even today and yesterday, and every time generally in the community, it's just not all the products that we bring you here, right? But it is also the community and the philosophy and open source is really the attracting and sticking point for us, right? So I don't want to take. I don't have a big speech today. I have just a few points. So I'll just share my story. So I often think, why did we take these paths, right? These seemingly alternate paths, not the mainstream path of, how a company should grow and how a company should be run. And when I was thinking, I went back into my childhood. So I kind of grew up in a liberal family. It was, okay. So, yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, it was very okay to say things that seemed stupid, and not worry about what other people think about it. And we often see things in the mainstream seem really stupid, but we don't say just because we feel that, maybe we are wrong, we are the minority, or with just the fear that we might hurt other people. But that's not how I grew up, right? And I was also not a very good student myself, so didn't really ace in education, and I probably spent more time reading novels than studying. And later I found out that the truth is really found in the novels and not in all the non-fiction literature. And so it was very natural to me, right? So when we started Frappe, and I used to develop code as a hobby on Microsoft, and then when I saw Python, it really made like a lot of sense to me, right? It didn't seem really radical. It felt like to write closed source software is stupid, right? In early 2000s, I mean, like anybody who used to publish software used to think, how can I keep my source code secret? And in 2008, again, when we started and we published ERP Next, at open source on Google Code, it was, so it seemed very logical to me that, if there are equivalent products and one of them gives you the source code for free, I mean, that is the only product that's going to sustain. So while people felt that, doing open source seems impractical and, very idealistic, it actually felt very pragmatic to me. Another interesting thing happened much later in 2019. So I became a parent, and became a parent much earlier in 2010. But then as we had kids, my wife and I, we started to explore all different ways of parenting. And we had a friend who was homeschooling their child. And that really opened me up to this whole idea that, it's okay not to send children to school. And I started reading up on literature about education, right? And when you really read about how schooling happens and how education happens, I went into my own childhood, right? Nobody ever learns anything sitting in a classroom. All the good times you remember from your schools are in the, playing with your friends and stuff like that. But sitting in the classroom is just boring, right? Somebody's droning on, and when a teacher asks a question, like the children will put their hand up, not thinking whether they know the answer or not, but the logic is, if I put my hand up, will the teacher ask me to answer, right? So at all the time, what happens in a classroom is just people are, playing games, right? And the only thing children learn in schools is how to stay out of trouble, right? If you fail, your parents will give you trouble. If you're too naughty, somebody else will give you trouble. And then, this whole idea that, society wants us to be institutionalized, right? Right from childhood, you're put into a school, you're put into a college, then you're put into, you work for a company. Like, the society doesn't want people to be free, doesn't want people to be liberated. They want you to be part of some institution, living in some box somewhere. And when I thought about, and when we started reading about the whole alternate schooling system, and it was very clear to me that, this is pragmatic. It is not impractical, it is not idealistic, but like this is what it should be, right? And these same lessons, I thought, will also translate to the workplace. So one of the things I always had when I was growing up, in a previous conference, I had given a talk with the title, can a company run without managers? And then I had a very different idea of, we had an energy point system, which does not work at all. And so now I have a different idea of how to run a company without managers, right? And then the idea here is, what freedom I have as a CEO of the company, everybody should have. And what you also realize, and what I've also realized when you think from a different perspective, is that everybody wants to, everybody lives their lives thinking, they have a story, they have a narrative, right? And in the narrative, they are the hero. And it's not the manager who's the hero, right? You are the hero of your life, right? I mean, that idea, and everybody wants to do well. I mean, all a company has to do is essentially get out of the way, right? And let people do whatever they want. So this is, how we do things at Frappe. This is what, the whole presentations you're going to see today, tomorrow, the engineering team, our business teams are, they're pretty much their work. I have very little to do with any of the stuff that you're going to see. They decide what to do, their quality. And, what we do as a team is, we push each other on. We have very high standards of excellence. So we demand high standards from everyone else. But it's just based on this really simple idea of, freedom, and which is also, the idea of free software. And yeah, that's my talk. Everyone is the hero of their story, and you are the hero of your story. So, I hope you do whatever you want to do in your life. So thank you. I'll hand over to Faris for the next talk.
Thank you, Rushabh. So, I know that Rushabh said that he doesn't do a lot of things, but one thing that he does really well is keeping very high standards from everyone in Frappe. That is what makes us do what we do. So yeah, I'm Faris. I've been at Frappe for more than 7 years now, and I want to share something. A few days ago, Rushabh, he keeps sending videos in our office group. So he sent one video. It was about human behavior. And it was a research that argued that motivation comes from things that give you joy. This got me thinking. I mean, you are taught that motivation comes from external factors like punishment or reward. But this research says that it comes from joy. This got me thinking, where do I get my motivation from? And the answer was pretty simple. When I build a button and it is pixel perfect, or I build a piece of UI and it works exactly like the way I imagined it to be, that is where I get a dopamine rush. That is one of the most satisfying part of my job. And right from the day I joined Frappe, it was clear that design was given as much importance as any other aspect of product development. And if you have been in the Frappe ecosystem since, if you saw the version 7 release, it was one of the major redesigns we did. That was with Studio March, a design agency. And then recently we found Timeless, which is the current design agency we are working with. So all of this is to say that at Frappe, we aspire to build world-class products. And we as internet users are exposed to many products. When I think of world-class products, Notion comes to mind. Notion has really set the standards for what a world-class document editing experience could be. If you have used Notion, it is very hard to make ugly-looking documents. Another product that comes to mind is Figma. And Figma came very recently, I mean, in the whole design landscape, in 2016, I believe. But it quickly became the de facto tool for everyone, for design. And I remember having a conversation with Sandeep, a person from Timeless. And at that time, Sketch was very popular among designers. And then I said this to him, because at that time, Figma was also free. But it was really good compared to Sketch. So what makes these products world-class? I think the UI should be pixel perfect. There should be some user delight. When you are using the product and a small feature gives you delight, I mean, that's what sets it apart from other products. And then there should be consistency throughout the UI. And at the core of efficient user interfaces are crafted interfaces. And this is what is missing in our superpower framework. Frappe framework is very powerful, and for the longest time we tried to add as many features as possible to accommodate a lot of user flows. But now it has reached its limits. So to push our products to the next level, we got to building a design system that will let us create these crafted user interfaces. And this design system is called Espresso. So this is a design system we built in collaboration with Timeless. It has a suite of really high quality components. And if you are wondering about the name, espresso is used to make frappe. The coffee, of course. So here is a short video. These are some components from espresso. This is the button component. And this is a playground that you can find on frappeui.com. In this video, I'm showcasing only a few. I really like the switch component. So these components are building blocks to make crafted interfaces. And espresso is built into Frappe UI. So if you download Frappe UI, you will get espresso components. And you can use it on your Vue projects. Now I want to talk about Gameplan, because Gameplan is the test product I use to build espresso and vice versa. And it's also the product that I've been building since a year now. It's a work collaboration tool for remote teams like Frappe. And we at Frappe have been using Gameplan every day for about a year now. And if you need to catch up with what's going on, you go to Gameplan. I have a video. So this is the homepage when you log in to Gameplan. On the sidebar, you will see a list of teams. This is the list of feed discussions. So I can quickly add comments, react to comments. This is the team page. This is the Frappe Cloud team page. They really like money. This is the README of your team. You can add any important information here. And now I'll go to the Labs team and go to the Gameplan project. This is the project page, and in a project page you will see discussions, tasks and pages. You have already seen discussions. Let's see tasks. This is the task detail screen. From the right sidebar you can edit the status and priority. And I really like the breadcrumbs. Wherever you are in Gameplan, you will always know where you came from. So it really makes the navigation really intuitive. Now I want to show the guest access feature. So Sandeep from Timeless also works with us, but what I wanted to do is give him access to only this project. So we can do that. And now we'll switch to Sandeep's view. And this is all he sees, only the content from the Gameplan project. And he can do all the actions that any user can do, including creating a poll. Now on the navigation, we have my tasks, my pages. We'll see all of these one by one. Tasks you have already seen, but here this is a view of your tasks that are assigned to you, created by you from across projects. You also have My Pages. You can keep notes. This is a document I'm maintaining for future ideas feature ideas in Gameplan. This is the people list. Here it's a list of everyone in your company, and there's a profile page, and here is all you can do on the profile page. If you have used Notion, you know where this inspiration came from. There's also a small cool feature. Now, as Sandeep mentioned me in a comment, I can click on it and go to the exact comment and also cast my vote. Now the last feature I want to show is search. This is a universal search. You type something and it gives you results from across everything: teams, projects, discussions, tasks, pages, everything. And if you don't find what you needed here, you can do the full text search also. That's Gameplan. So I want to end with this. I talked a lot about world-class products, but I also know that we are not there yet. And we have started this direction of new products very recently in the grand scheme of things. And it will take some time for these products to mature. But I'm very excited about the future, and I hope you are too. Thank you. I'll invite Jannat.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Jannat Patel, the product engineer of the Frappe LMS app. And this is my third year at Frappe and also my third conference talk. I started working on Frappe LMS in the year 2021. It's an app that you use to create and share online courses. At least that was the direction the app was headed to since inception. At Frappe, most of the engineering that we do starts with a problem we face. This is what has led to the creation of not just Frappe LMS, but most of our apps. We wanted a platform to educate our user base and customers about the ERP world, and so we made Frappe LMS and launched Frappe School for the same. Frappe School team started using the app for the creation of online courses. Their major purpose was to educate our community. I remember the very first report that I added into the app was specifically requested by the Frappe School team. They wanted to know how many users are completing the courses. So I worked on this report, and when it was ready, we checked the numbers and found that very few people are actually completing the courses. This was in the very early days of Frappe School. The team thought that it might be because we've just begun, and they hoped that the numbers would improve with time. In the meantime, they kept on experimenting with the kind of courses they were creating. They tried different narrators. They introduced storytelling in narration, introduced animation in videos, even rented out an expensive studio. This is the most popular course on Frappe School, and I took this screenshot just last week. So, as per last week, this course had around 6,400 enrolled users. Would you like to take a guess at how many of them have completed the course? Only 13%. So roughly around 850 people. It looks like people are usually very eager and excited to sign up for a new course, but not as excited when it comes to completing these courses. The unfortunate reality of online courses is that they have a very low completion rate. In fact, most researchers state that the completion rate is as low as 5 to 15%. What's the reason for this? There are many reasons, but 3 common appear in every research. The first is lack of structure. There is no schedule, there is no timetable, and so individuals find it very easy to get disoriented and lose motivation. The other is limited interaction and support. With online courses, you don't get to interact with the instructor, you don't even get to interact with other students. Individuals find this isolating, and this hampers their motivation even further. And the third is limited accountability. With online courses, they are self-paced, so there's no one to keep a track of accountability except you. Turns out in this case, it might not be that good of an idea. So what's the solution? The solution is something that provides with more structure, more interaction and support, and higher levels of accountability. Something of this sort can be achieved with group-based programs. Most researchers prove that group-based programs show more impactful results than any other type of learning programs. Coming back to Frappe School, after 6 months of content creation, the team decided that it was now time to take the next step. They wanted to start with online trainings. They wanted to leverage the benefit of connection and structure. They asked for a solution that would help them gather information about interested candidates, collect their payment, form a group of these interested students, track their progress, provide a way to assess and evaluate them, and finally, grant them a certificate to acknowledge their expertise. This whole piece felt like it naturally belonged to the LMS app and was an interesting problem to solve. The new direction taken by the Frappe School team somehow also paved a new direction for the Frappe LMS app. This led to the creation of second major module in the app. We call it batches. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how all of this process can be achieved through the LMS app. Let's start with batch creation. It's important to note that the role of a moderator is important when it comes to batches. To create a new batch, an instructor has to click on the new batch button and enter all the details in this dialog, information like date, time, the seat count, which means how many students will be accepted in this batch, description, details, etc. They can also decide if it's going to be a paid batch or not, which means that a student will have to pay that particular amount to enroll themselves into the batch. They enter the amount and the currency for such batches, and then they save the information. Then your batch is ready. As you can see, all the information entered is now visible on the batch details page. A moderator can then add courses to the batch. Along with courses, they can also add an evaluator. Evaluator is a person who will be responsible for the assessments and evaluations of that particular course. And there's no restriction to the number of courses you add. You can add as many courses as you want. And once all of this is added, your batch is ready to accept enrollment, so you can start the registrations. Let's see how a student would be able to enroll themselves into a batch. To register for a batch, a student can click on the batch they're interested in, check out the details, the courses they'll have to complete as a part of this batch, and then click on the Register Now button. It leads them to the billing page where they enter all the necessary information and then click on Proceed to Payment button. It opens up the payment gateway. Payment gateway used in Frappe LMS is Razorpay. So if you're a system admin, you can configure your Razorpay account details into LMS settings, and the payment gateway works just fine. Once the payment is captured, the user becomes a part of that batch now, which means that they're a student of that batch. Our enrollment is also done. Then starts the main process of evaluation and assessments. This is what a student dashboard looks like in Frappe LMS. As you can see, it's divided into multiple sections. You can see the list of assessments. Assessments in Frappe LMS are of two types, assignments and quizzes. And then comes the courses that the student will have to complete. Next is discussions. Here, all of the students, moderators, and evaluators get to interact with each other. A student can, tag other students and moderators, add images, format their message the way they want, and then post it. And it's a rich text editor, so it makes sure any queries that the student has gets resolved on time. Next comes evaluation. A student can schedule evaluations right from the LMS for all of the courses. And if an evaluator for that course is set, and the evaluator's Google Calendar is also set in the backend, the student will receive a calendar invite for their evaluations. It makes sure that they never miss any of their evaluations. Live classes. This is basically a Zoom integration where moderators can create live classes right from the LMS itself. The list of live classes are displayed to the student. They get to know the live classes they have to attend throughout this batch. They can also join the class right from LMS itself. And once all of the assessments and evaluations are done, a moderator can decide and grant a certificate to the student. If you don't want the common template provided by the app, you can customize the certificate template based on your choice. And that's not all. We have a lot of things planned for batches. I'll share a couple of them here. First is batch schedule, which would be a day-to-day timetable informing the student of all the activities they'll have to complete on a day-to-day basis. A leaderboard, which would involve gamification on certain rules and would help moderators know which students are performing the best. And next, moderators dashboard, which will help moderators manage the batches assigned to them well. And whatever I just showed you will be releasing this October. So stay tuned for the updates of Frappe LMS. That's all from my side today. Coming on stage next is Shariq Ansari, bringing to us all Frappe Insights.
Hello everyone, I am Saqib Ansari, a product engineer at Frappe. I have been at Frappe for past 4 years now, and today I'm here to share my journey of building Frappe Insights and a couple of new updates. So, Frappe Insights started with a problem of solving a data accessibility within our own organization. And then that quickly, it started with a simple idea of creating an easier way to build reports from our ERP-Next data. But then it quickly evolved into the idea of building a generic BI tool for everyone. So a BI tool manages 3 parts, makes it easier for people to connect to different data sources, then extract that data from the data source and combine them, and then finally converting them into beautiful charts and dashboards. This is still a difficult task to achieve, but the real challenge is to build it with a crafted UI, which is easier for everyone to use and understand. So last year at the conference, you saw a demonstration by Hussain, which showcased the query builder of Frappe Insights, where you could connect to your ERP-Next data and build simple reports, basic reports. But that was just the start. There was a lot of things to do to make it a complete BI tool. For example, it needed to connect to multiple sources. Since different sources have different queries, so it needs to connect to different, it should handle multiple type of queries. Combine data across the sources, and the most common one is to make complex queries easier. So without getting into the technical details of how I managed to make it DB agnostic, here are the databases it could connect to, and it is now very generic enough, and it is very easier to add any other SQL supported database. The unique, there is also a unique way to connect to your data, which is very flexible for a developer. It is through the script query. So script query is just a server scripts kind of in Frappe framework, where you can write. So here I am adding my own secret variables to be used. So this secret variable will be used to connect to your APIs, for example. Once you have added, you can write the Python code to get the data. You can view it, log it. And finally, once you execute it, you get all the rest of the features Insights provides. Now coming to the major improvements done in last year into the query builders. So the improvement started when we started using Insights in our own, internally in our own Insights instance. So we started with a simple problem of improving how we track the renewals. We used to track it on an Excel sheet where the data comes from manually filtering out from our ASP.NEXT instance. So this was the exact problem that I wanted to solve. So Michelle and me collaborated, and in just one pairing session, we built this dashboard where you can see all the pending renewals and also see the churn for the current month or past months. But the best part, after this pairing session, Michelle was able to create a lot more dashboards on its own herself, and yeah. So coming back to our original problem, the query builder improvements. Once we started using it, there was a lot of cases popped out where which Insights wasn't able to handle. So one of them was building this query. For example, you want to find the leads to quotation conversion ratio. So first, you would build a leads per month query. Then you would create a quotation per month. And then once you have these two set of results, you would want to, the way we can find the leads to quotation conversion is by joining this query. So for that, we added this feature of saving a query as a table. So here I'm saving the queries as a table and then selecting those queries as tables in another query. So, and once you have joined them, you can simply treat it as a table and select the columns and execute them. And once you and this makes use of something we in SQL language we called as common table expressions. So each of these queries are their own CTEs, and the final query makes use of them. Similarly, you can create orders per month query, invoices per month, and then finally get the sales conversion ratio. Now, after this, it became harder to manage these complex queries, because it is difficult to understand for any new person. Structuring the query in a way that people understand, documenting and revisiting. So the idea here was that we needed a parent level view of a query, where you build multiple queries and then finally combine them into one. So that's where I thought of an idea of using Jupyter Notebook concept. This is a tool which data analysts use, where you add individual blocks of Python code, document them, and then finally use the individual blocks in the final code. So this was used in the Insights Notebook concept, where you would so here, as you see, we added a new query, selected the notebook type of query builder, and then you go on, set some context about what you are going to analyze, set some description for newcomers to understand, and add SQL block, and then execute it right away. You can continue to add as many queries as you want, and all of them stays at one position. Finally, you can also add your charts and visualize them at the end. So this made it much more flexible to add complex capabilities in notebooks as just a block. For example, if you want to pivot results, then we can have a simple pivot transform block, and then once you add, you select the result set and you have pivoted data. So after this, the existing query builder wasn't good enough to be added as a block in the notebook interface. So we needed much more compact, minimal, and something that is step by step as notebook is. So that's where this visual query builder came. So here the concept is to start with a data, a table, and then you can add individual steps like combining, filtering, calculating new columns. Here I am calculating the order value by adding price and freight charges, and then finally summarize by your metrics and dimensions. So this fits perfectly in the notebook interface, where you would continue your analysis by adding individual blocks. This was the major improvement done in the query building capabilities of Frappe Insights. Then there are other smaller stuff like adding charts. It now supports a lot of different charts now. And also the most wanted feature of pre-built templates and sharing templates. So you can now browse through the community. Okay. You can now click on the browse templates and you will see a list of templates created by the community. You can also, you just click on it and click import, select the data source you want to connect to, and you have your template imported. There is a lot more to come in terms of data, improving the data modeling capabilities and cross-database joins. Once these are done, Frappe Insights will be the will be one of the best open source business intelligence tool alongside Metabase. Now I will call upon Alan to share some stuff about Frappe Books.
So, I'm Alan. I have been working on Frappe Books since almost 2 years now. So that's what I'll be talking about. So for those who are not aware, Frappe Books is an experiment in desktop accounting by Frappe. And while everyone was building cloud apps that ran in the browser and where the data was stored on Jeff's computer, we decided to build a desktop app where the data was stored on the user's computer. We started with the basic accounting features such as invoicing, payments, reports, and then eventually ended up adding a lot more things such as inventory and a lot of customization features too. And since last year, we have grown from around 200 to 700 users. It's not as much as we expected, but it's growing, so that's nice. So this talk will essentially be me showcasing a couple of features of Frappe Books. Essentially to show how easy it is to use. So the first thing I want to showcase is the basic accounting flow. This I want to showcase because a lot of the apps make it difficult to find the things, and then here to conduct the basic accounting flow in which I go over creating a sales invoice, recording a payment, and viewing a couple of reports. You can see how everything is kind of intuitive, and navigating to the respective actions is not something that you need to think about a lot. So first thing I do here is closing the sidebar because I'll be using the quick search. I type in CRA and then you can see the list of creation items have shown up. The first one is sales invoice. I'll click on that. It takes me to the sales invoice creation form. I enter a customer, but since there's no customer, I click on create. That opens the quick edit form to create a customer. I save that. And similarly, I add a new item. And since an item entry doesn't exist, I do the same as for the customer. The quick edit form opens up and then I enter data for the item master. I save that and then it pulls in the data to the form. You can see that the invoice has updated all the data and the tax and all has been filled out automatically. And now I'll save the invoice. But similar to ERP Next, it's not submitted yet. This too follows the save submit flow. And I'll say submit it. And now clicking on view accounting entries will take me to the general ledger and show me the accounts that have been updated because of this specific transaction. Now I go back, you can see that it is unpaid. So I'll click on create and then payment to record a payment against this invoice. Now the payment's been recorded. And clicking on the linked entry button shows me the payment. And clicking on that takes me to the payment. Now I'll open quick edit again, quick search, and then navigate to the profit and loss report. So you can see that here in none of the actions I had to touch the sidebar and then fumble around in menus. So most of the things took place through the quick search form and you just had to type in a few letters of the things that you wanted to do, and you could navigate to that. The next thing I want to talk about is sprint templates. So Frappebooks already came with 3 built-in templates, but then the users wanted more than just being able to customize the base level things such as just changing the colors or the logos. They wanted to do more than that. So I ended up adding a print template customizer, which allowed changing the code. So I'll be showing that here. First, I navigate to the print template list view. I open one of the built-in templates. Then I duplicate that. And now I can edit the template in the console. For example, now I will change the rounding of the logo. And this has support for Tier 1 classes and CSS. It's essentially a view template. So the next thing I do is changing all the gray to blues. You can see that it's updated immediately. And then finally, now I want to add item description. So for that, I find where the item is written. Then I need to know what the key is, so I click on key hints. And then I find the key hint for the item description. And then I add that in. The editor even supports auto-completion. As you can see, a lot of the hints just show up. And then it updates. And then after saving, I can finally export the invoice, and then it looks like this. The next thing I want to showcase is data import. So I had initially added in a data import tool because while testing Frappebooks, I wanted to enter data into spreadsheets and then just have it import so that I can test how much data it can handle. And then after that, I ended up rewriting it to make it more flexible. So now it kind of doubles even as a bulk entry tool. So I'll show you what I mean. So first I navigate to the import wizard. And then I select the import type, which is essentially the type of entry that I want to import. So here I select item. I already have a CSV file filled out. So I'll select that file. This pulls in the data and then populates a couple of rows. And you can see that these fields look like inputs. So that's because they are. So here I find an error in the field and then I can fix it. Similarly, I'll fix a couple of more errors in the final row. And I can click on the plus button to add an additional row. And then that way I can add as many rows as I want and fill out more data. And then I click on import data, and then it immediately imports all of the data. And then takes me to the list of all of the items, where you can see the imported items too. The next thing is inventory management. So the last time, during the previous conference, I had spoken about Frappebooks, and one of the things that a lot of people asked me was, is it going to have inventory management? And this is about that. So essentially, we added a couple of features that enables tracking of inventory. So now you can record purchase receipts, stock movements, shipments, and even view stock balance and the stock ledger. So now it has inventory management. So what's next for Frappebooks? So the second thing that people asked me was, how does this relate to ERP Next? And so now we'll be adding offline POS with ERP Next integration. So Frappebooks can be used as the POS client, and that will sync with ERP Next and push data when you have connectivity. So this is useful for locations where there is spotty internet. This is being added by Akshay from Vani. Vani is a Frappe partner, so this will be out soon, and then after that, a thing to look forward to is the next version of Frappe, which will be version 1. You can check it out at frappebooks.com. I would like to call on next Sabu.
Hello everyone. I'm Sabu Siad I work as a product engineer at Frappe. I joined like almost a year ago, and I'm here to talk about Helpdesk. So I know most of you seen Helpdesk, or at least tried it, because we recently switched our support portal to Helpdesk. So I want to tell about a bit of myself, how my career was and how Helpdesk is. So before joining Frappe, I used to work as a backend engineer, mostly logical, everything that's not seen by a customer. So the point is, what you want from a backend engineer is performance, or things should not break. But then I changed into a different role with Helpdesk as a product engineer and also as a UI developer. So when talking about that switching, I want to specify that I had no idea how customers or people or an average person thinks, because I had never thought about that. But then again, I started working on Helpdesk, and then I got this, let's say, a thought that my product, Helpdesk, should be accessible to everyone. It should be easier. It should be like the perfect world-class product that I will use as a user. Like, I want to see that perfection. So that's where my journey began. And when I talk about that switch, it's also a switch for Helpdesk. Because you might know that Helpdesk started like almost a year ago, but it went through some rough times. There was some issues, let's say product-wise. But then that product was reborn with me, and I was reborn as well, because I changed my mentality and I changed my way of thinking. So this is the new Helpdesk that you're going to see. And like I mentioned earlier, like you probably seen Helpdesk because we switched to Helpdesk for our support portal. But then you probably not seen the agent portal, like the where things happen, where you get the replies or notifications. And also, why Helpdesk? That's a question, because there is 3 whys. Why you need a Helpdesk? Because if you have a customer base, you can probably support them with emails or telegrams or Instagrams or WhatsApps, whatever. But after a point, it becomes tedious. It becomes not so easy. And you need a product, you need a compilation of all these communications in a single place where you can filter all of them and then effectively manage them. For example, you have to provide SLAs. You have to give a response in this certain period of time. Or you have to fulfill their complaint or their needs in a specific time. So all of them you have to manage in a specific thing, and that's what Helpdesk is. So right now we support emails. So whatever ticket you created through emails can be opened in Helpdesk. It can be managed, and we also have a customer portal. That's the app that you see in our support portal. So that's why we need Helpdesk. But then also, why not the support module? Like, we have a support module. The point is, we want Helpdesk to be handpicked. Like, every element you see in the Helpdesk page should be useful to you, and every element that you don't want to see should not be there. So everything is perfect, and everything should be perfect. That's the second why. And the third why is, why not just use other closed source apps or other industry giants? Well, the answer is, one, it's open source, and second, it's Frappe. You have extensive customizability with Frappe. Okay. So when I say handcrafted, this is what I mean, because everything you see here is useful to you. For example, you can see columns. So it's currently showing 7 columns, but there are a total of 15 columns currently, but you can customize it. So for my use case, I only need these columns because I'm a supervisor. So I set this as my primary view, and this is it won't change when you reload, so it's useful. And also, if you look at everything, you can see that listing from Frappe framework, you can have your own limits. So everything in this page is useful to you. And again, we have this ticket page. So I don't know if you've seen this before, but in that right sidebar, we have the SLA information when it was it was fulfilled, response and resolution, also the status, everything. And there is an extra sidebar in which you can see who saw the ticket, then what the history, what the contact is, all the necessary information that you don't want to see in the first glance. Okay, so every information is there. It's just like handcrafted to be useful. And you can see even the comments, the conversation, everything is chronological, everything is tidily arranged so that you don't have to, you know, like work out your brain. Everything is easy for you to access. But then you're probably thinking this is like everything is handcrafted, right? So everything is handpicked for you. So what's the use for? Like you want to customize this thing, okay? But that's a problem where we face, like unlike Frappe framework, which is a framework, you can customize anything. But our new products, like we have limited customizability. But even then, we want to provide these customizable options in a limit. Like you can customize things, but then it should not be like extensively customizable. So for example, let me play this clip. One thing you notice that it is a customer portal. Okay, so it looks very different from agent portal, and there is a reason for that. And that reason is that we have limited functionality on customer portal right now, but in future we will be having too many like features. For example, like notifications. I know you need notifications, so we'll be adding that. So things like that will come. But for now, this is our customer portal. Okay, you see that, right? Because we added a new field, but that's a standard field. That's a difference. But then, what if you want a custom field? Okay, you can also add a custom field. So to save time, I added some like GitHub issue and GitHub PR. But this GitHub issue can be set by customer, but not the PR, because you in some tickets you want to track a certain PR. Okay. So right now we are using Desk or backend or framework for this, but soon we will be moving everything to the Helpdesk UI. So the thing is, you can see GitHub issue and PR there, but not in customer portal. In customer portal, you can only see issue. So second one, so I added a PR just for like an experiment. And then what if you want to add something like an action on top of that value? You can add that as well. So let's say you want to open a PR. So yeah, and this is an example. So it's a JavaScript snippet. So everything that's possible with JavaScript, you can do. Okay. So this will be executed in the view context. So this is our ticket. So everything from ticket, like every bit of information, you can access with this. And we don't want to see this if there is no like GitHub issue, PR. Sorry. Save it. You go back, refresh, and you get that link there, and it will open that PR. So, I mean, basic thing, but I mean, like with your creativity, it can be much more like powerful. So what's the future? So like I said, we have so many things in our mind. For example, I want to start with the notifications. So it's like, let's say, an essential. That's why I'm not specifying it. But there is also other things like a search, a global search with which you can search anything, like from agents to tickets to customer to anything. So that's the second one. But I'm not going to specify these as features because these are, of course, essentials. But then we are going to get a new knowledge base. So this is the second version of knowledge base. We will be revamping this as well, and we'll be giving you a new a new experience. For example, you can see there is a button, a create ticket button on bottom. So what I'm going to do is we'll introduce a workflow where you have to read an article, okay, to create a ticket. So with that one, we can reduce the number of duplicate tickets or low quality tickets by so much. And next we have integrations. Basically where we have, let's say WhatsApp or LinkedIn. You want to support through WhatsApp, and every conversation from WhatsApp should be created as a ticket in Helpdesk. So that's the kind of integrations what we are talking about. So we are already working on a Slack integration. So that will be released soon, I think. Schedules where you can have multiple schedules per team. For example, like evening schedules, so like night shifts. And if you are on leave, you can mark it as such. So that's another one. And workflows where basically before creating a ticket, you have to have certain approvals. Or when you escalate a ticket, you have to do some criteria. So that's workflows. So these are new features that will be soon hitting Helpdesk. So I want you to try it. So like I said, you may have already seen it, but you can also try it here. It's free, so please try that. Thank you. I want to, so let me introduce Arjun. He's working on a product which I personally love. So please welcome Arjun. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Most of you haven't seen me before. I joined Frappe last November, and for the past 8 months, I've been working on something cool to show you guys. Mostly, the repo is public, and you guys hunting it down would be aware of what the product is. It's Frappe Drive. From the name, it's pretty apparent what Frappe Drive is. It's our new in-house collaboration and team communication software. Frappe Drive is built using our Frappe framework and Frappe UI. I'm going to take you guys through a quick look on the UI of Frappe Drive. Here's Frappe Drive. This is the home screen. Inside the home screen, you see all the files you're marked as the owner of and the files that you've uploaded. The application currently supports a grid view as well as a list view. And you can also view details about your files, including all the meta information and the comments on the file. Frappe Drive also tracks your recently viewed files, sorted by the files you've most recently viewed, of course. And you can mark files as your favorite files so that you can reach them quickly when you need them. You can also view files that have been shared with you explicitly and files shared by you. And of course, trash, where files are currently cleared after 30 days by default. Frappe Drive also supports previews inside its software, where you can view certain file types right inside the browser itself. Currently, Frappe Drive supports images, videos, common document formats, as well as sheets. Moving on, Frappe Drive also supports PDFs, text files, and audio files at the same time. Frappe Drive also supports all the common file operations you'd come to expect out of a regular browser or file application, such as tagging files, copying files, moving files, renaming files, or downloading files. This support is typically inside of web drive applications, not usually extended towards folders, but Frappe Drive treats folders as first-class citizens, where uploading, downloading, sharing folders is completely seamless and maintained as a whole. If you upload a folder or download a folder, the structure is entirely secure. We'll go through a simple workflow of uploading and sharing a file with a user. We'll start by uploading the file. Once the file is done uploading, we can preview it. And we'll share it by opening the share dialog. Quite a bit in here. Inside the share dialog, you can currently also set the file to be viewed publicly. This is useful when you're working with a client or an external party who also needs access to the files that you have. You can, of course, give them edit access as well for the files. For the sake of this demo, we'll revert this back to restricted access and share this file with a single user. Edit access can also be toggled per user on a per user basis. You can also copy a link, toggle commenting on the file, as well as disallow download if need be on the file. Once you're done sharing, it seamlessly appears onto the user's shared list. Once we were done building Frappe Drive, at least the core part of it, we realized that quite a few tools lack simplicity in the open source department. So we set out to build something we need the most, is a seamless, integrated, and simple text editing software. We integrated TipTap with Frappe UI inside of Frappe Drive. We'll start by naming the document. And you've seamlessly created a new document inside of Frappe Drive. I'll place some demo data in here to work with. Inside this document, we support basic Markdown, as well as formatting using our inbuilt text editor, where you can change the fonts, font size, tables, common editing functionalities. After we're done, we'll quote the file and move on. Frappe Drive, the reason behind having this editor integrated inside of Drive was to have it seamlessly be a part of the application, where it allows us to do interesting stuff, such as leave real-time comments on the file itself. This points to the line that you've commented on, effectively having a suggestion system inside of the document. Moving on, the editor inside of Frappe Drive also supports integrating images, videos, tables, whatever you want. All of this, once you're done, can be exported to a PDF file where it completely maintains the formatting. Frappe Drive also supports real-time editing inside of the text editor. This is the core reason behind doing it inside of the editor. We need this to be a completely seamless solution where a lot of ideas are just iterative. We need a lot of back and forth on them, rapid communication, and we focus on the content itself inside the document and not forming a document itself. What's next for Frappe Drive? Frappe Drive currently lacks very fundamental features such as groups and roles inside of drives, searching, and notifications. All of this is handled seamlessly by the framework and should not be a big deal to add. Whereas Frappe Drive is currently working on integrating a better spreadsheet editing solution as well as making a seamless presentation solution inside of Drive itself. And of course, UX and polishing. You know that. You can follow Frappe Drive at github.com/drive/frappe/drive. And we're building it in public. Hop by. Maybe you can file an issue and select the direction the product goes. Thanks. I'll be handing this over to Shariq, who's going to walk you through a new product.
Hello, and good morning, everyone. My name is Shariq Ansari. As a part of the framework team, I've been fortunate enough to work on many exciting projects. But today, I'm here as a product engineer. So I'm very excited to announce and welcome the new product of the Frappeverse. Can you guess it? What it is? Anyone? I'll give you a hint. It is designed to streamline your sales processes and to make your sales team even more productive. Yeah, you guessed it right. So let me introduce to the Frappe CRM. So I have to mention this. So I was able to complete this project in less than 2 months. So yes, you heard it right, in 2 months. And this was possible. This is because of our incredible and powerful Frappe framework and our component library, Frappe UI, along with the Espresso design system. So you might be wondering why it is a surprise. ERP Next already has the CRM module, right? So our sales team has been facing many problems and difficulties while using the CRM module, and there are many such problems like difficulty in navigating the system, or then uncertainty to know on knowing the next move to make in the sales process. These issues hinder the productivity of the of them. So this is why sales team has consistently voiced the need for a better CRM. And there is one more problem in ERP Next, that it has so many modules that CRM does not get that much attention. So by separating CRM, we can give the focus it deserves. And also, the most important thing, it gets a crafted UI, as Faris mentioned in his slide. So there are many CRM solutions available out there, and some you might be using some of them. Some of the popular ones are Zoho, Salesforce, and Leadsphere, but they are not open source. And we believe in open source, right? There are some, those are open source, but they are not yet up to par or not actively maintained. So with Frappe CRM, we are aiming to build a robust, feature-rich, flexible, and customizable Frappe CRM system that empowers business to supercharge their sales processes. Enough with the talk, let's see the demo. So this is the lead screen. This is all the lead, the list view for the lead. Then the deals. So deals is actually the opportunities in CRM terms. Some contacts, also notes to take. Okay, we are getting a call from a user. Let's accept this call. Now the most important thing while making a call is you have to take notes, right? So I've integrated that part in the call UI itself. So you can click on the note button and you can take notes. As the salesperson is making these notes, so this note is actually connected with the call. You will see that in the next. Cool. So I think it is enough. You can minimize the screen also, and you can move around to any screen, anywhere. So you can see we are in some another lead. Let's end this call. Let's check the call log. So in the call log, you will see a call on the top. You can see all the details for that call. So you can also listen the recording of that call. You can also edit the notes that we took while we were in the call. So we added the website details. Okay, let's create a lead out of it. So yeah, the lead is created, and you can see in the calls tab and activities tab, all these information like call details and emails, it will be visible there. And let's fill up all the details for that lead from the notes that we took while in the call. So it is auto-populated. In case you are wondering, the call integration is actually the Twilio integration. So yeah, I think it is ready. So you can also see while updating the detail, the contact was created and it was displayed on the calls. You can see the user while making the call. You can also add more notes here. So let's send a welcome email to that customer. Cool. Now, assuming that sales agent has worked on this, and based on the stage the lead is in, he can change the status according to the stage. And then finally, you can qualify it and convert this lead into the deal. Yeah. So you can see all the details, all the activities has moved here in the deal. You can see all the previous activities here, the emails, call logs and notes, everything. And this deal has some other information like organization details. So you can fill those, assuming you know that. Cool. Now deal is done. Now you can change the status according to the stage. And yeah, you can finally mark it as won or lost. So that is CRM for now. So this is just a beginning. We have many features, that upcoming features in mind, and these are some of them, like dashboard, Kanban board, calendar view to make events, and tasks to take tasks while working on the lead or deal. Custom field is very important for customization and integration. I think everyone wants integrations in CRM, like WhatsApp, Telegram, and also ERP Next. I'm planning to do that also, and global sidebar, and many more. Thank you, everyone. I would like to call Suraj on the stage to take this ahead.
Yeah, really excited to see everyone. And I hope you are excited as well, looking at the product updates that we shared. It takes so much effort and dedication to put something like that in front of you. And the support and the encouragement has been really great. I really appreciate that. I have one more update to share. Actually, another product to unveil over here. Before that, hello, I'm Suraj, product engineer at Frappe. I've been part of Frappe since more than 5 years, and during this phase, I became one of the top contributors of framework. So a couple of years back, I led the execution of one of the biggest design refresh for framework, which was done in version 13. During this phase, I got a greater inclination towards building a sensibly designed product and understood the importance of UX for a complex product like framework. Today, I am specifically going to talk about website building user experience with framework. Our very first version of building a website was like this. It was a basic HTML dump, and only a web wizard could churn out a beautiful web page out of this. So it did not stay for long. We obviously had to improve it. Although framework took a lot of heavy lifting, like setting up a routing system and caching pages, but this was basically a lot of people could not use this. So to simplify this and to make it low code, we introduced a new option. Using this, you could build a web page using pre-built components and with some configurations like this. So this although removed lot of requirement for coding, it also introduced some restrictions. There were these problems, like it was not intuitive. We had to do lots of back and forth before we got our final design of a web page. The slow feedback loop was the problem. and the lack of customizability left had no room for creativity. So, for the solution, I worked very hard to build a visual web page builder from scratch, and of course, it's open source. Let me introduce, just take a look. Thank you. Yeah, this is a very new entry to for a new product for Frappeverse. There are a few more advanced features that I would like to show. For example, suppose you want to create a product listing that is also supported. Suppose you want to load some data from your database and represent it via this component. We will start by creating a component through this item card, and the wrapper will be converted into a repeater. So basically that wrapper will fetch the data from the database and just repeat the component, and once this is properly wired up, this is the actual data. So once this is properly wired up, this is how it looks. Dynamic data. One more related feature, suppose you want to load a specific template of page and you don't want to repeat that page, you can just create a template and fetch a dynamic part of URL and use it to fetch the data. This also uses that component logic. We have a component, it fetches data from a page level, and then this is how it looks. So the item name that is written here is just a preview data. So you can change the data to preview different record in your database. So once this is done, you can basically navigate through this item list. You can click and go to your page, and you don't have to redo it every time. You can create just a template, and that's it. Yeah. So this is one of our ambitious projects, and the aim is not only to serve or improve the website building experience, but also to serve the needs, templating needs of framework. The other bigger aim is to, we are hoping that a fully functional application can be built using this visual building tool. So I'll leave you with that. As of now, you might have questioned that whether I can use it or not. The answer is yes and no. Basically, if you can set up your local instance, you can obviously go and try this, install in your local and try this out. But as you saw, framework is, Builder is already a powerful tool. But I would like to introduce more essential features before going into production. So I'm pleased to announce that it will be available on FC on 1st of Jan 2024. Yeah, that is it for me. I would like to introduce Hussain to take this event forward. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I heard backstage that the audience is low on energy. We can prove them wrong, right? That's fine. Okay. Okay, it works. So good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a great time at Frappeverse 2023 with all the awesome presentations and exciting announcements. I will walk, you have to. Okay. So I am Hussain Nagaria. I am a product evangelist at Frappe. You might have seen me somewhere else too. So today I am going to talk about builders and how the Frappe ecosystem is empowering the builders of today and tomorrow. But before I begin, I want to make one thing clear. Builders are not just developers. Builders, in fact, builders are consultants, business people, people from sales, people from marketing, people from HR, and a variety of other roles. So, in my opinion, any ecosystem that empowers builders has three important pieces: tools, platform, and education. In terms of tools, we have our full stack web development framework, Frappe framework, which is more solid and powerful than ever. You will hear more about this in the second half. With the Espresso makeover, Frappe UI is more polished and has become more feature-rich than it was ever before. We also have tools like Doppio and Frappe React SDK that makes it easy to build custom front-end experiences in Frappe framework. And just before me, Suraj unveiled the Frappe Builder, which unlocks a range of other possibilities. When it comes to platform, we have the one and only Frappe Cloud, which makes it easy for you to deploy these tools hassle-free. Now remains the third piece, education. So before we dig deeper into this one, I would like to share my journey at Frappe, a brief one. So I joined Frappe more than 2 years back as an intern, and before I joined Frappe, I was a teaching assistant for a Udemy course, and where I basically help students by answering their doubts regarding programming and development. I enjoyed it a lot, but I always felt that something was missing. I wanted to build stuff. So that's what I did when I joined Frappe. I build. I said yes to every project that came my way and I built it. But again, after some time, jumping from project to project, I thought something is missing. So officially, slide ahead, wait. Yeah. So on the side, I started building smaller projects and writing about them. And soon I realized that I enjoyed sharing what I have built more than building the product itself. So then officially in April this year, I switched to a full-time role of product evangelist, which is basically, if you ask me, a teacher. So now I'm back to being, come on slides, help me out here. Yeah, I'm back to being a teacher. So the missing piece, right? So the first thing I wanted to do after I became a product evangelist was to do a live stream where I would build a complete app using Frappe UI and Frappe framework in 2 hours live. So that was the first live stream we did, and it was a one-time thing. Do it, get over it. But we all know how that ended. So one fine day, me, Faris and Rushabh were having a discussion on this, and Rushabh came up with this, that Buildwithhussain, I have pronounced it so many times now, Buildwithhussain should be its own series and should have its own YouTube channel. I created the Buildwithhussain channel on that day itself, and that's how Buildwithhussain was born. Fast forward to today, Buildwithhussain has close to 50 videos and tens of hours of content on the Buildwithhussain YouTube channel. In less than 4 months, it has hit 925 subscribers, nearly 27,000 views, with a whopping 2 lakh plus watch minutes. That's overwhelming. Thanks a lot for the support. What's next on Buildwithhussain? So this was video content. Now it's time for some written content, right? So introducing articles on Buildwithhussain. So now we have long form written content starting from tips and tricks, best practices, announcements from Frappeverse, and a lot more. Yeah. It's not live on website soon, but yeah, soon. Okay, so that's not it. Soon, Buildwithhussain will have a lot of foundational courses like basics of backend, basics of Vue.js, and even we'll have a cookbook where there will be a lot of recipes that you can just copy and use in your applications, such as server scripts, client scripts, and more. So Buildwithhussain is no longer just a project or a product. It is the platform. A platform that will empower the Frappeverse community with the knowledge and the equipments that Frappeverse has to offer. So how can we talk about education without Frappe School? and in specific, Frappe developer certification that started about a year ago. In the last few months, we have revamped the whole training program with a lot more content by covering low code, no code in its full glory and revamping the assessments. We have broken down this assessment into multiple days so students can basically practice as they learn instead of waiting for a larger project at the end. And we built this shiny new portal using Frappe UI where the student can submit their assessments, right, and get instant feedback and without waiting for a teacher to check it. Supposedly the student has not made the doc type submittable, so it's complaining. The student can go fix this up and resubmit as many times as they want till they pass. So we have whoever is enrolled in the Frappe Developer Certification Program, they get video recordings, they can do the self-assessment, they can submit, resubmit, instant feedback. But what if I told you, all of this that I announced is available to everyone for free. So introducing Frappe Framework Self-Training. As of today, you can go to frappeframework.com/self-train. You have access to all of the above mentioned stuff. Fine. So you said, right, Hussain, you said builders are not just developers, right? So what about the non-devs? So we have something for you too. We have a special training coming up on Frappe Framework for non-devs. This is going to be the most comprehensive training for non-developers ever happened on Frappe and apps. We will cover the ins and outs of the desk, low code, no code. Even you will learn about how to deploy and manage Frappe cloud sites. We will also learn about Frappe Insights and Frappe Builder and much, much more. The training commences 17th of October and the registrations are live today. So I started with builders, right? So I want to end by mentioning few of the builders from the Frappeverse. We have builders like Bhavesh Maheshwari who have built a business from scratch using Frappe Framework and ERP Next. We have the Commit Company, Nikhil and team, who are building the next generation of Frappe apps using React and Frappe Framework. We have builders like Mitesh Choksy who have done dozens of successful ERP Next implementations on a large scale. And we have, it's your turn now. Thank you.